Hello, Loveland. I'm Mike Meldon, and this is your Loveland Weekly Podcast, brought to you by Gina Dubell-Smith, eXp Realty, and Stone Pillar Farm. I have always wondered what the Eagles were about. You know, located right next to Nisbet Park, right along the river. Most people are familiar with the Eagles Lodge, and sometimes I was able to catch a glimpse in through the doors or into the windows and see a bar that was usually filled with people, even though it was a private place. And so it always piqued my interest of what went on in there. So last summer I was downtown. I was at actually Narrow Path having some beers, and somebody mentioned that they were an Eagles member and headed over there. And I asked if I could tag along. So I went over with Molly, and she showed me the place. And right off the bat, I loved the vibe. I loved the atmosphere, and decided to apply for a membership. Now, to become a member of the Eagles, you need to apply, but you have to have 2 members sign for you. And then after that, if it goes well, you get called in for an interview. So I got called in for an interview, and that's just when you get to meet Eagles members. They get a chance to meet you, see that you meet certain requirements for their organization. And then if you agree and they agree, then you get invited back for initiation, the ritual of initiation. And I got invited back. I did my interview and went back for my initiation. And my wife, Kim, did the same thing with the Women's Auxiliary. And we were both inducted. She was inducted right before me, both inducted in late 2023. And since then, we've gone watch football games. We've gone just to go have a bite to eat. Very family-friendly environment. If you do end up taking the kids, you know, they don't like a lot of cussing going on. It's a different atmosphere than your standard bar, and we all know that we have a lot of great bars downtown in Loveland. This place is just a little bit different. Great outdoor area right on the river, and so. And besides that, I've met a lot of great people, and the meetings and what we've seen and what I've seen them do have been phenomenal. So a place that I'm really happy that I joined, and it seems like a lot of people are happy that they've joined because their numbers are right now really, really high. But there are still a lot of people in our community that don't know really what the Eagles are all about and what they do for us. So I thought, okay, let's take an episode and briefly talk about the Eagles. So I met with Mike Goode, a great guy who sat with me before the Eagles meeting last night and gave me a little bit more information. So I hope you enjoy that conversation. And today we have a special treat. It is our inaugural segment of the Loveland Sports Guy. This is Chris Ball. You met him in our last episode. Chris is bringing us a first official segment, and we're going to call that the Loveland Sports Guy. And he's going to talk to us about the Cincinnati Reds, bring us up to date on their season so far, which hasn't been so great. But good news is, while I was at the Eagles last night, they did win 2-0 over the Padres. But listen to his podcast or his segment. I really think you're going to enjoy this. I think this is going to be a great addition to the Loveland Weekly Podcast. And here we go. Today is Wednesday, May 22nd, 2024.
Fraternal Order Eagles is about people helping people. You know, it's our motto. It got started in 1898 by 6 theater owners. There was a theater strike back then, and they kind of met at a shipyard somewhere and buried the hatchet and started an organization called the Order of Good Things. And at some point, it evolved to the Fraternal Order of Eagles. I think it was in the 1920s that the auxiliary came apart, our ladies that do so much for us. And basically the way I describe the Eagles is we like having fun and we like giving money away, so we have fun and give money away.
How does somebody become a member if they want to become a member?
Like if you know somebody, have them bring you in. sign you up. You need to get a second proposer, so it does take two to do it. And then you go through an interview process and an initiation process. And
yeah, I thought, not that you can talk about the initiation process, but it's pretty special. I think a lot of the guys that come through are surprised. What can you say about it?
Well, it is a ritual, and it and we can't be real specific on it, right. But it is kind of cool. For the people that listen to it, get a lot out of it. Mm-hmm. So it's it kind of tells what we are: liberty, equality, justice are three of the things, and there's another one.
It's big in Loveland, right? How many members? What kind of things go on here? Well, what do we do here?
So the men we're like 890. Ladies got probably 600. I mean, we're really close to 1,500 members. We've kind of overgrown our building, so we're in decision mode right now. I mean, do you move? Do you upgrade to things? Because it is affecting us. What we used to do a lot of events that we would have just to bring people in and to promote stuff. I think our membership's hurting us a little bit right now, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, that's. I guess it's a good problem to have. Right?
It is.
What are some of the charity events that you guys? I know it is pretty much nonstop, but what are some of the big ones you guys do each year?
I know the Nest has been big. Buckeye Search and Rescue's been big. We do a lot for Pink Ribbon Girls.
But you also just have events. I mean, you had an Easter egg hunt, right? You guys collect for Christmas. I mean, it's helping just the people around the community that are in need.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah, a lot of that around Christmas. The Easter egg hunt we have over at the park every year, and it's members and non-members. So if there's kids running around out in the park, we invite them in to participate also. And Christmas, we do a lot for Christmas. I can't get specific on each one of the different charities that we do, but it's a lot of gifts for needy people and right. Things like that. Last year, we gave away out of this area, I know it was over $100,000.
It's amazing. It's amazing for the people local, and a lot of it's local.
Yes.
It stays local, yep. Which is phenomenal. Let's talk about you. When did you get involved? How did you get involved? And what have been your roles in there?
I got involved. I've been a member since like 09, 08, 09. I turned into president the first time in 2011, and I did it for that was vice president in 2011. And then that's where they started me, because I kept telling them I'll get involved when I get the time. I was going through some things at the time, and so when I did, I jumped in and I asked them, what do you need? Well, we need a trustee or a vice president. I said, well, I'll do trustee that runs business. There you go. I think you're vice president. You should be grooming to be president. And I'm not going to be president next year. Well, I was wrong. 3 years in a row. Nice. Enjoyed every bit of it. And I'm glad I took that route, because I actually learned the fraternal end of it before I had to deal with the business end of it.
Gotcha.
And I think that's important. I really do. Did that for 3 years, and I was a trustee for, 6, 7 years. And right now I'm the secretary. This is my second 3-year term. We'll start in June.
Nice.
So,
all right. Anything you want to say to wrap up?
Nothing really I can think of. It's it's a good place. It's good people. Good thing is it's a lot of good people. Kind of the bad things is you got a second family.
Oh yeah.
And I really mean that.
No, I agree with you. Yeah, you go through the good times and the bad.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've seen that in the short time I've been here. Yeah, and parking, you can park whenever you want and go where you want, right?
You cannot.
Tell them why.
Yeah, so we got 1,500 members and 40 parking spots. So we used to promote the parking lot when we were trying to recruit some people, but now it's like we stand out there and guard it.
Yeah, do not think you can become a member just to park and go downtown and love it.
Correct.
Awesome.
So enjoy.
All right, welcome to the first inaugural podcast of mine, Christopher Ball here. for the Loveland Podcast Network, I guess you could say. Thanks to Mike for bringing me on, allowing me to contribute something, my unique perspective. I'm often told I have a face for radio or for podcasting, so that's what's led me here today to speak to you guys. And I wish it was coming to you under some better circumstances. We'll get to a little bit of Reds talk today, maybe some Bengals if we have time in the end. I want to let you know that it's a rough time to be a Reds fan, so I'm going to come to you first from a place of positivity, and that there's still quite a few months left in this season. Now, nobody's going to snap their fingers or give you any sort of magical remedy that's going to bring back Matt McLain, Noelvi Marte. They're not going to walk through the door next week and turn things around for the Reds, unfortunately, as much as we all wish they would. And it's tough to find a lot of positive things about this Reds team. The numbers speak for themselves. 15 out of 18 they've lost. 7 straight series. And it's tough to pin it on one specific thing that's going wrong, apart from, obviously, the offense that we all have seen implode over the last couple weeks. But I do want to go over, let's start with some positive things for the Reds overall. Mostly in terms of the starting rotation. Hunter Green, an ERA under 2 over his last 24 innings, and his overall ERA this season, 3.27. Now, Hunter Green's a guy that got a lot of scrutiny from a lot of Reds fans going back to last year when he signed what, for all intents and purposes in major league terms, is a pretty tame contract. Now, Reds fans are used to the frugality of this team, so to many Reds fans, it's understandable that that extension is a pretty penny, and it comes with a lot of expectations for Hunter Green as a young player. And I think that the one thing that most Red fans can agree on this year is that he's living up to those expectations. And they're, not to win a Cy Young necessarily or lead the league in strikeouts, but to put his team in a position to win. And that is exactly what he and the rest of the Reds starters are doing this year. Andrew Abbott, ERA just over 3.06. Nick Lodolo, in the time that he's been in, ERA of 3.34. They're 15th in team ERA. Which if you had asked most Reds fans at the beginning of the season, would you take a starting rotation that was solidly in the middle of the pack in the Major League Baseball, they would answer yes, unquestionably. Now, the problem for the Reds is that at the time that their pitching is stabilized, become more reliable, other things are starting to understandably or unfortunately fall apart. And that's the offense, outside of a few players. Now, we have to preface this, obviously, that when you're a team like the Reds, who play in the market that they play in, generate the revenue that they generate, the margins are extremely narrow. I mean, they're extremely narrow for a lot of Major League teams, but the Reds especially. No one can really look with a straight face and say that with the guys that we have out, that this team is expected to consistently win and take series from teams like the Dodgers, teams like the Yankees, teams like the Rangers, even though they have played very well against the Phillies, who seem to beat everyone else apart from the Reds. Any injury is instantly magnified, especially for the Reds, because they don't have the depth that these legacy franchises have. And so when guys like McLain and Marte, suspension or not, it is what it is. When they're gone, there's not someone the Reds can just slide into that spot and hope to keep the same production level. Now, it happened last year bringing up CES, bringing up Ellie, bringing up Matt McLean. That resurrected a season that first couple months looked like it was in the tank.
Hello, Loveland. It's Emily Barlow, your local publisher of Loveland Lifestyle magazine. It's a great time of year. So many amazing things are happening in Loveland. It's warm, it's sunny, and there's really no better place to be. And we at Loveland Lifestyle love covering all of the happenings. In addition to any new businesses opening, awesome new ventures that people are focusing on. We love covering everything Loveland, and we love partnering with new businesses. So if you're a new business and you've been thinking about working with Loveland Lifestyle, or maybe you're someone who would love to get a copy, but it's not delivered directly to your door, you can always reach out to us through our website, citylifestyle.com/Loveland. We'd love to hear from you.
And unfortunately this year, the Reds have the same record through the first 46 games as they did last year. Now, that's not really a comfort because this year is the year we were supposed to step up. And it's really not happening. And I think one area that you can really notice that difference is in one-run games. After losing the other night to the Dodgers, the Reds are 1-11 in one-run games. Whereas previously, we all remember the Rally Reds, the Cardiac Reds from last year. Well, that's gone. And why is it gone? Well, it's a combination of things, I think, if you look at it. No offense. Reds, as of this recording, Monday night, May 20th, hitting second worst in the league at .217. That's a batting average barely over the Mendoza line. Many of the players that you had thought could at least try to keep things on an even keel with the injuries that we have is simply not there. Jonathan India, Will Benson, barely hanging on above 200 or around 200. And it's simply not going to get the job done in any stretch of the imagination. Things are looking better for a few guys. Tyler Stevenson being one, hitting .368 over his last 12 games, 4 doubles and 2 home runs. But the issue with this Reds offense has been, especially this season, a tale of trying to put it all in the back of one guy. Early on, it was Spencer Steer. Now, Steer, unfortunately, over his last 25 games, hitting just .144 after that red-hot start that he had. Ellie De La Cruz. Again, he's the best hitter on this team, and it's not really close so far. But again, he had his issues and is having his issues as well. And then after he gets a little colder, now Tyler Stevenson's starting to heat up, but no one's really helping him. And that's what a lot of the Reds season this year is coming down to. Even with the injuries, even with the guys out and underperforming, we're seeing some indication of what this team is capable of. The other night, in their 7-2 win, they went into Dodger Stadium on Shohei Ohtani bobble night. 500,000 or 50,000 fans, there on a weeknight game. I mean, that's a weekend crowd on a weeknight game. The Reds showed up, won 7-2. Earlier in that Diamondback series, 13 hits from several different players. This team has shown what it can do, but it's simply unable to sustain that level of performance, even from game to game, much less series to series. They've lost 7 straight series at this point now. And Ellie's kind of a good example of that. After he had 4 hits and stole 4 bases against the Dodgers. He promptly finished up that series going 0 for 13 with 8 strikeouts. And it's a microcosm of what this team has failed to do after signs that you think might mean that they're putting things together, especially behind the plate. And to a certain extent this year, the Reds are who they are. There's not really anyone left to call up that's going to change the paradigm in terms of what we're seeing on offense. And so it's going to be up to the guys that they have to try to cobble together some sort of consistency. And it's really, really not looking like anyone's able to do that right now. There's certainly the ability. Other positives, though, talking about Ellie a little bit, it almost is going to come down to the stolen base watch. If there's nothing else for Reds fans to cheer for this year, it's to try to see if Elliot De La Cruz can steal 100 bases. Most likely, it's easy to root for him. He's an electric player. That's a great milestone that Vince Coleman, I think, was the last guy to do it. It's going to be a great thing to root for. I look forward to doing that. In addition to having watching the Reds win some more games maybe. Have a couple big series this week against a Padres team that's really playing much better. And then you got the Dodgers back. And then the Cardinals. So it's not getting easier for the Reds in the upcoming week. The other thing we have to talk about that really you can't overlook is what's happening to Alexis Diaz. Alexis Diaz was a guy last year that you put him in a game and it was almost a certainty that you were going to walk away with the win. Now, he had some issues last year, but this year, again, it's almost bewildering to the fact that you almost wonder if he's injured. 15.2 innings pitched this year, 12 walks, and 3 hit batters. He almost has as many combined walks and hit batters as he does innings pitched this year. ERA 7.47. And if you want to know why the Reds are 1-11 in one-run games, playing badly in close games, that might be a good place to start. I hope Alexis Diaz really gets whatever's wrong with him figured out fast, because this team can win games. And those close wins are the best thing you can have, really, to start some momentum, maybe start a winning streak, get things going. But again, Alexis Diaz, a guy that was big last year, just not coming up with anything this year. And so the Reds have to find something from somewhere. I don't think, in my personal opinion, that there's much David Bell can do to teach these players how to hit again. I mean, we're watching guys take meatballs down the middle of the plate, late on fastballs, grounding into double plays. There's only so much that David Bell he admittedly has issues with lineups. He's had issues with lineups this year. It's understandable. You can play the percentages, though. You could do the righty-lefty matchups. But guys ultimately have to hit the ball. And when you're batting .217 as a team, I don't think there's too much that you can really put on the manager in that situation. Or the hitting coach, to be honest. I mean, I've really never seen a team with so much offensive potential just crater, in a little more than a month after they were playing pretty good baseball. So, positive things, though, to look for the Reds. If the offense does pick it up, the pitching's there. Middle of the bullpen, Fernando Cruz, pretty strong. Brent Suter doing well. You saw that, in the game that they won against the Dodgers. It was a bullpen game. For those that remember the nightmare of last year, where they had a bullpen game every other week, it seemed like. Well, this one they came out on top, pitched very well against a very good Dodgers team. So the pitching's there. The bullpen, for the most part, is there. Now it's just a question of, can this team put it together? They're back at home for a stretch of games. Let's hope the fans turn out at Great American Ballpark, and maybe they can find some way to help get this team back on track. A little bit of Bengals news to close out the podcast for those that have been watching off-season workouts for the Bengals. It's great to see number 9, Joe Burrow, on the field, looking really good. I mean, I'm not a doctor, not an orthopedic surgeon, but some of the throws he's making in the preseason, the off-season workouts rather, look dead on. It's been really great to watch him throw, get back on the field. I personally remember, and I think a lot of other fans did, they dissected everything about Joe Burrow last year after the calf injury in preseason camp. How was he walking? What was his gait like? The analysis went on and on and on, and it turned kind of spiraled out of control, and obviously was an issue that was bothering him. We all know how that turned out, but you're not seeing the same thing this year. There's no flexing of the hand or doctors looking at his hand. He's dropping back. He's making crisp, clean throws. And it's a good sign for Bengals football, because that's, again, he's the reason for their success. So watching him work and watching him have a good, clean off season is definitely going to be a great thing to see this year. And I saw a clip also of Orlando Brown really mentoring Amarius Mims, the tackle that the Bengals drafted out of Georgia, and you love to see that sort of thing, especially in mini camp, over off-season camp. And I think that, again, a lot of the Bengals players know that Amarius Mims is going to be the future of this team. It could be. And I like to see those guys working together to show the young guy the ropes. And I think the Bengals are going to be interesting to watch this offseason, especially if the Reds can't get it together. There's going to be a lot more focus on what the Bengals are going to be able to do. And I think Jermaine Burton is another interesting player to watch, the wide receiver that they drafted. He had a lot of great catches and he seemed to have a good chemistry with Burrow. So the whole T. Higgins situation being what it is, it's going to be nice to have someone that can maybe plug in if T decides to go his separate way after next year, which, looking all intents and purposes, very likely. But it was good to see, on that same note, Trey Hendrickson show up, be ready to play. Said, I made my trade request. That, is what it is. And I'm here ready to work out and ready to help this team win. And I think you don't see that if Joe Burrow's not the quarterback of the Cincinnati Bengals. It is the reason why free agents want to play here. They know that Joe Burrow can win them a championship, can take them far, and guys want to play for that. And I think Trey, to a certain extent, recognizes that. I know he's unhappy, feels that he is deserved of more money, and certainly that's something he can discuss with the front office as time goes on. But the fact that he's here has to make you happy, has to make Bengals fans happy. So looking forward to football progressing. In the meantime, going to keep cheering on the Reds, hoping that eventually they'll learn how to hit a baseball. God knows I'm not the one to teach it, but I'd certainly love to see it if it happens. I just want to wrap up here and thank Mike again for having me on. Hope to make this a weekly podcast. If you ever have the fans out there, any questions, any ideas for a podcast, any comments on what I've said or topics you'd like me to discuss, I'd love to be open and receptive to that. If you want to send me an email at lovelandsportsguy@gmail.com. That's lovelandsportsguy@gmail.com. Always love to have a robust sports discussion, especially as it pertains to Cincinnati sports. For any of those out there that care to talk about it either, I'm also a big Cavaliers fan. I could do a whole podcast on the Cavaliers right now, but no time for that. Happy to discuss maybe on a future episode Ohio's only NBA team, so a lot to root for there. But I want to say thanks to all the fans out there. Hope to talk to you soon. Maybe see you downtown Loveland at Cappy's. I also have a column in Loveland Magazine. Very thankful for them for letting me have that. So if you ever get a chance to shoot on over to Loveland Magazine and check out my column there, I appreciate any feedback, and hope that everybody is having a great summer. School's about to let out, so get to Great American Ballpark, enjoy a Reds game, and be well.
Hello, fellow Lovelanders. Like many of you, I care about our community and our environment. And like many of you, I believe in looking out for our future and our children's futures. That's why I'm happy to talk to you about the Wellness Company. They offer over 400 products for everyday use, all formulated from naturally derived ingredients. That means they're safe, effective, and budget-friendly. Whether it's household cleaners, personal care items, or supplements, this company has you covered. And the best part? By choosing these products, we're not just improving our own well-being, but we're also reducing our impact on the environment. So neighbors, let's make a change together. Join me in prioritizing a healthier future for our community. If you have any questions or would like to talk about it, feel free to reach out to Kim at knherbert05@gmail.com. Together, let's make a difference. Looking ahead in Loveland, Love Our Land is having its sidewalk safari this Friday night. All ages, okay? Doug, my partner in the organization, a wildlife ecologist, is going to take people on walks around Loveland, around the bike trail, and show you all the nature around us. So grab a beverage, grab a beer, grab a drink, take a walk with Doug, and get to see all the beauty that our natural environment has in downtown Loveland. You do need a ticket, though. Anyone, children 9 and under, are free with a ticketed adult. Anybody that's a member gets in for free, but you do have to go in there and get a ticket. There is a member code, and it's listed there. You just need to go to www.loveourland.org, go to the event section, and grab your ticket today. There are 2 event times. One is at 6 p.m. That walk will take you for about an hour, 45 minutes or so, around Loveland, 6 to about 6:45. And then we will meet again at 7, and we'll do another one. So sign up for which one you prefer. If it's raining, it will be canceled. You will get your money back, but it looks like it's going to be okay. And thanks to Hometown Cafe, they are allowing us to meet there on our sidewalk for both of those. So grab your tickets, meet us Friday night, and come to this fun sidewalk safari. And if you have any events that you would like me to mention or show ideas for the podcast, please reach out to Mike at mmeldon1@yahoo.com. We have something truly special here in Loveland. Thank you for listening, and have a great week. With the support of On Brand Studios, this episode was recorded, produced, and engineered by Mike Meldon. And please note that the opinions expressed in the podcast do not necessarily represent the views of our sponsors or organization.